We are T-minus 10 days away from season 4 drop. I just got done watching the season 2 finale today, and I have a lot to talk about. Really don't even know where to start. We had a lot in this episode, y'all. After seeing how the town did Julie, Randall, and Mariel in the last episode, the vibes around town are cooked. I had enough boy told them they couldn't sleep before. Now they seen what the town did to them three. You wouldn't be wrong if you thought you was next. People thinking that they wanted the main characters. I understand the panic coming out of some of them. That one dude, Red, went out his way to grab that shotgun, thinking that he was gonna make a difference. To up the pole on Boyd, who's a much better shot than him. Besides, though, this episode really gives you a feel of all the hysteria going on throughout time, seeing the side effects of people not sleeping, and their hope literally evaporate from people's spirit. Hope that, according to Abby, at least, is what's feeding the force, but we're gonna get into that. Poor sheriff/martyr Boyd cannot take anything more on the town lying down. There are a lot of quotes from this episode that I'm gonna mention in this rewatch video, so bear with me. It to Boyd as they're both trying to figure out what is going on with Julie and these other victims. The trick is you find two pieces that connect, and at least you have a place to start. After hearing this from Jade, Boyd has a better idea of how to approach the situation. Two connecting points he picks in this scenario being where he ended up after he left the dungeon earlier on in the season, and picking up from Elgin's dream that he told him about in the last episode. After this, Boyd, Kenny, and Sarah go out into the forest. Boyd takes him to that starting point, and it's here where Sarah starts crashing out. The picture does not do it justice. I have so many quotes from Sarah alone in this episode, but we just gotta talk about it real quick. First of all, when Boyd gets to talking to Sarah about the boy in white, she mentions the fact that she doesn't think that he was really a little boy. She leads me to believe that the boy in white is cursed in the same way that the demons of the town are, as well as the dogs that aren't aging for some reason. He's a boy that's clearly been around longer than Victor had, and has likely guided many people before. I know, but Kenny says a quote from his pops that I just have to mention in this video. Trying to comfort a hopeless Christy, he tells her that his dad used to say, "It's hard to see a sweater when you're only just a thread." This is a response to Christy saying that their time in Frontville would have been a waste of time. They're just going to die. Kenny corrects her, saying, even if we don't make it out of Frontville, maybe we make it easier on the next batch of people that come out here. Which I find interesting, considering things might be a lot easier for them than it was for those before them, because we literally know people came before them and they literally got wiped out. Now, obviously, it has not been easy for these people in Frontville, even going back to Donna's time. Since Boyd has come in anyway, massive change has come about in the time. It's because everything that Boyd has done up until this point that they lean on him, do even more. Donna tells Boyd to stop being a martyr in this episode, but y'all have gassed him up to be one. In season 1, y'all been telling him he's the one that needs to lead these people home, and then y'all expect him to not look for answers, be content with not looking for answers. Donna, I'm looking at you. I swear it felt like Donna was trying to get Boyd off his pivot all episode, talking about some boy, just come back to Colony House with me, man. Ellis and Fatima, they trying to get married. They're making the most out of the rest of their time here. You should do the same. In an episode where everybody's hope is in the toilet, you could say that Donna is experiencing the same thing. And I don't know, I just got that feeling Donna was once again in the right place at the right time. And she approaches Boyd when he's talking to God at the church, looking for more answers, and is telling him he no longer needs to look for answers. You could also argue Donna is sympathizing with Boyd in this scene. I would agree with that, but now of all time, we have 3 people currently trapped in Lord knows what. You want Boyd to stop looking into this over a wedding? Left the 3 of them who can't make the most out of their days being trapped Lord knows where, right? Granted, if Donna was an op, she ultimately led Boyd to getting the answer he needed to free Julie, Randall, and Mary. Because after Ellis mentions in his wedding vows to Fatima, "You are my light in dark places," but immediately knows he needs to go back to the same spot he brought Kenny and Sarah to at the beginning of the episode, with the torch like the one he had right before exiting the dungeon earlier on in the season. Ultimately, the verdict's still out on Donna being an op. There's just so much evidence in this season alone of her being one, in my opinion, but maybe that's just to show wanting you to believe that. After Sarah hears the music box at this location, she starts to hear Julie, Randall, and Mariel screaming. This is happening, her nose is bleeding, and she gets to mention a lot of it's here. It's torturing them. It's laughing at Boyd for bringing it back to town and setting it free. It wants to hurt us and make us suffer, and finally, it got so excited when it touched your arm. Looking at Kenny when she said that. It calls back to episode 8 when Kenny wakes up from that dream when he got burned in the dream, but somehow still had the burn scar outside of the dream. My question is, who is it? I want to say it's the ballerina that we see associated with the music box throughout the season. We don't see her one time in this episode. Is it the music box itself? Is it Martin's blood? You could also say it's Martin's blood, right? He put it into Smiley, Smiley died, and we see the cicadas feeding on Smiley's body, and now all of a sudden they're feeding on Randall, Julie, and Mariel. This is what it means by Boyd has set it free, and that now whatever was in his bloodstream is now going in these cicadas that are now in these 3 people. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that in the comments, because I generally need to know who it is now. Whoever it is, I don't think they could be the man in yellow, because I believe that they got activated only after Jade played his song Under the Bottle Tree in season 3. Anyway, Boyd, with all the pressure of Frontville on his back, brings that torch to the starting spot, enters the dungeon that he was in at the beginning of the season, is about to break the music box until Abby approaches him yet again. She tells him some very interesting and factual things that we see transpire in season 3. Destroying that box won't end their suffering, it'll only prolong it. People in this town will suffer in ways you can't imagine. Which we see directly after this episode in TN and the season 3 premiere that I'm not ready to rewatch at this point. Boyd then asks if whatever this thing is just allows her to have a chat with Boyd at any given moment. She then goes on to indirectly respond saying it knows you won't listen, it wants you to fight. It wants you to have hope that you could actually win. And when Boyd asks why, he says it's because hope is what makes you willing to suffer. Damn. After this, Abby tries to convince Boyd to come back to her, but he's like, F no, I have to free these people. So my boy stands on business and breaks that music box, instantly freeing the three of them before telling the town, you can't break me! I was so hyped for Boyd here, but man, was it even worth it with what we got going on in season 3? Incidentally, the dog pulls up on Boyd again before running away. Why is this? What is this dog? Are we just now seeing it for presumably the first time this season? Also, was that the real Abby talking to Boyd? I feel like it was. She genuinely did not want him to break the music box because she knows what's going to come after this. But who is allowing her to have these conversations with Boyd? Like, who is it? Somehow, I still have not even mentioned Jade and Tabitha. Yes, they are a part of this episode, and Jade goes into the caves finally after being convinced by Dead Tom to do so, and he gets answers somewhat. Finding these 7 kids down there and also seeing the symbol that he's been obsessed with this whole series right above him. Then he looks back down and they're gone. What this means, I have no idea. He also sees Jasper down here, who obviously was Christopher's dummy back in the day. Ironic that Jade would see him because he is Christopher's reincarnation, obviously. 6 minutes in, we're just getting to the craziest part of this episode. Now, Tabitha tells Jim at the beginning of the episode, seeing Julie going what she's going through. He has something that she needs to do, and she needs to know that he's going to be okay with it. Tells him about the tower picture Victor showed her some episodes back. Says maybe going to this tower can help free Julie, who is a child. It was Miranda's mission back in the day, freeing the children from this tower. Okay, y'all keeping up. Victor tells her he doesn't know the way to the tower, but he does know the way to the bottle tree. This is what we find out is a faraway tree in itself. Now, Tabitha asks a very important question. Who the hell set these bottles up in this tree? I need to know that as well. Victor says he doesn't know conveniently. Before he sends Tabitha through the tree, he gives her his lunchbox, which is very convenient because we know Tabitha uses the same lunchbox to locate Victor's dad in season 3. Almost like he needed to be in town for some reason. Victor could have easily just sent her through the faraway tree without this lunchbox. He conveniently did. So what is his dad going to do in season 4 that warrants him giving her the lunchbox? After Tabitha and Victor share a hug, we see Tabitha makes it through the faraway tree and is right in front of the tower at this point. By the way, before she goes in the tree, we find out that Victor's mom didn't get into the tree. That Victor found her body right outside of the faraway tree, indicating that she was slimed out before she was able to go in. And damn, she would have been right in front of the tower too. Tabitha is literally right in front of the tower when she goes in the tree. She's making her way to the top. She's hearing a lot of uncooey, uncooey, indicating that the kids are somewhere in the tower. When she gets to the top, she only sees one kid. It's the boy in white. And he's telling her I'm sorry, it has to be this way. This is the only way we can make it happen. Before pushing her through the light tower. Oh, nah. And obviously after doing this, Tabitha ends up in that hospital in Maine or Camden, I think. I have a few takeaways from this scene in itself. For starters, this is the first time we've seen the boy actually moving his mouth to communicate with somebody. Before, we've only seen him pointing and communicating like telepathically with Victor and Sarah, etc. Now he's full on talking to Tabitha from this tower. Also, was he baiting Tabitha to the tower? Because where were the kids at? I'm assuming that maybe you could identify where the kids are from the tower. Maybe that's it. But as she's making her way up the tower, we see these toys and card games on the stairs. Toy truck standing out to me. So clearly kids have been in this tower before. They trapped in the walls of this tower, similarly to how Dale got trapped in the pool towards the end of season 3. And if so, how are we gonna free these kids? Now some Attack on Titan shit, trapped in the walls. What can we do? My last question, he mentions that pushing her out the tower was the only way. And I only asked, the only way for what? The only thing that came from pushing Tabitha out that tower is her just spinning back to town with Acosta and Victor's dad. 2 people who likely would have never ended up in Frontville without Tabitha's intervention. Why didn't need to be here, and how is them being here justify what the boy in white said at the end of season 2? We need to find that out going into season 4. But man, the season 2 finale gave us a lot, as you can see by the runtime of this video. Looking forward to starting my season 3 rewatch tomorrow. Y'all stay tuned for that. If you made it to this point in the video, leave in the comments your biggest, most burning question on From going into season 4.